Welcome back to our lesson review, homework review for 4-5. I asked you to do 15 to 36 by 3s. The first few say find the two square roots for each number. So for 15, they gave you 144. The two square roots for that, so I'm going to say the square root of 144 equals both positive and negative 12. And remember that you are thinking about what times itself equals 144. To do that, we can say either 12 times 12 equals 144 or negative 12 times negative 12 equals 144. Remember that if you had positive 12 times negative 12, that would not equal 144. It would actually equal negative 144, but you would not be multiplying the same two numbers. So when you have that situation, so say we have 12 times negative 12, we are not multiplying the same number. We're multiplying 12 times negative 12, two very different numbers, 24 apart on the number line. So this would equal negative 144. If then you have a negative under your square root bar, your radical, that is not a real number. So when we talk soon about number categories again, and we talk about real versus not real, this is not a real number. You cannot multiply the same thing times itself and get a negative number. So this actually does not exist. Moving on now to number 18. We have 196. So keep in mind that these are going to be perfect squares. So even though this is getting bigger, we can kind of run through some numbers and we're going to find the answers pretty quickly. When you do that, in this case, square root of 196 would be positive and negative 14. Seem to have killed my fifth marker of the day. Moving on to 21, they ask you what are the two square roots of 225, which in this case our answer would be positive and negative 15. Moving on to 24, they ask us to simplify the expression. They give us 64 over 4. We can do this in a couple of ways. We could divide by 4 and then take the perfect square root, or we can take the square root of 64 and the square root of 4. So if we were to divide this out, 64 divided by 4 would be 16. So we can take the square root of that. We know that 4 times 4 is 16. You don't need to say both positive and negative 4 here because you're just asked to simplify this. When it doesn't say find two answers, or it doesn't say a negative or the positive negative, so both positive and negative out here, that means you can just understand it to mean they want the positive number. All right, 27 is up next. Here again, it says find the two square roots of each number. For 27, your answer is positive and negative 23. For 30, we had 324, and the answer there is positive and negative 18. 33, you were asked to compare two expressions. So we have the negative of square root of 1 plus 4, and we have 1 minus the square root of 36. So in this case, they want the negative version of the square root of 1, which would be negative 1 plus 4, so we'd have 3. And in the other case, we have the square root of 36, so we'd have 1 minus 6, which would be negative 5. So once we figure that out, we can throw in either less than, greater than, or equal to. 3 is greater than negative 5, so we can then say the negative square root of 1 plus 4 is greater than 1 minus the square root of 36. And we have one last problem here. There is a square rug. The area of the square rug was about 68 6/100 feet squared. They estimated the length of the side was about 7 feet. Is the estimate reasonable? So if we had a square rug and the side was 7 feet, that means that both sides would be 7 feet, where this would be about 49 feet squared. If they were 8, if they were 8 feet each, that would be 64 feet squared. If they were 9 each, that would be 81 feet squared. So your answer, let's see, this would be 8, this would be 9. Your answer here would be somewhere between 8 and 9, a bit closer to 8. So 7 was probably not a reasonable estimate, assuming they wanted to get it fairly close. So 8 feet would have been probably the best estimate here if they were going to estimate a whole number. That was fun. So that's actually it for 4-5, and that is it for this week. So as a reminder, what you needed to do this week was lesson 4-3 homework was due Monday. Lesson 4-4 and 4-5, those homeworks are due next Monday, which we are into May 3rd. So May 3rd, those are all due. We will have our next Zoom meetings next week on the regular scheduled day. So 8th grade will be Tuesday, 7th grade will be Wednesday. I'll see you guys then. Have a great weekend.